if he misses it, he can watch this.
Yeah.
And
have we heard from Michael yet? Is he responded?
He got onto Slack, so let me see. No, I haven't seen anything from him.
Okay.
Brother, or the professor. Sorry, he doesn't want us to call him professor. Brother James, got on and joined, which I thought was good. But no, we haven't heard anything from Michael, so I don't know if he's doesn't have it set up or what's going on. But okay, so here is our co-topics. I've put in our names here. These are not ours. They were just in there as an example. So I'll take those out. Okay, so there are, so are we going to start teaching next week, meaning week 3? Or are we supposed to start teaching this week?
I don't know if it's just me. I thought he had said that we were just getting together this week and going and setting up the schedule, but maybe I'm just doing that up.
I don't know, because this shows week 2.
Yeah, we might have to start teaching this week if we get through everything, because I think, there's 13 topics, and he said...
well, here, can I read the objectives?
Yeah. Go for it.
It says, this is from iLearn, it says, this week you'll join a team and work with them to create your team schedule for the course. And then, so we got to pick an agile methodology that we want to work as a team. I don't even know what that means yet. But it doesn't say anything about teaching yet this week.
Yeah, there was
interact, decide on an agile methodology. Based on the methodology your team chooses, create a team schedule for achieving the fluency you want, and begin working toward your schedule. So,
yeah, so Agile Method, there was a reading on it last week. I actually just skimmed it because...
I looked, yeah.
But
13 different choices or something.
Yeah, but I didn't really understand what it was. So
well, then
maybe it's a good thing that we're going to be meeting with the teacher in 20 minutes.
Yeah. I know the one that made the most sense to me was the feature-driven development, and I can't even remember exactly what it was about anymore, so I'll have to kind of refresh myself on it. But yeah, the descriptions weren't very clear on the Wikipedia page. It was a little hard to understand.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that too.
Meaning, I'm sharing my screen if you want to just look.
Oh, there they are.
So I got into the history, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to read this whole history. I kind of skimmed through it, and I kept skimming through it, and finally made it down to, right there.
12.
Yeah, based on 12 principles. So that's what the development is based off of. But I wasn't sure if these were the methodologies, because later there's 13 methodologies.
No, yeah, it's the 13.
Yeah, which is down.
There they are, right there. Yeah, the development methods.
Yeah.
So
there's adaptive software development. Which one of these looks best to you from how it looks? And we'll click on it and find out what it is. Or have you heard of any of these?
The one I liked the most was that feature-driven development. It seemed the easiest to understand and a little more tailored for us online students, maybe, because some of the others, it sounded like we were meeting on a daily basis and kind of going over our code, all the time. But this one, it seems kind of to allow us to take different features and then assign those features to different people within the group, which would probably work well for us.
Yeah, especially since we're teaching different topics. So, of course, we're going to be assigning different topics out to everybody.
Right.
So, I mean, that sounds like what we're going to be doing. Overview. It is a model-driven, short iteration process that consists of 5 basic activities. For accurate state reporting and keeping track of the software development project, milestones that mark the project progress made on each feature are defined. This section gives a high-level overview of the activities. In the figure on the right, this lovely UML diagram, the meta process model for these activities is displayed. During the first two sequential activities, an overall model is established, or shape is established. The final three activities are iterated over each feature. For more detail, blah, 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 on the table 2. Okay, so these are the 5 things. Develop overall model, build feature list, plan by feature, design by feature, and build by feature. Which sounds about right. So the develop overall model, I can click on this and zoom in. Goodness. How do they expect me to read that? I'm not even old yet, and I still can't.
Hey, careful.
Well,
Hey,
see? There you
There. Okay. So we're going to conduct a domain walkthrough, study the documents, and develop small group models. Develop team model, refine project object model, write modal notes. Form the features list team, build the features list, and then form the planning team and assign everything out. And conduct it, study it, develop it, refine it, write it, design it. These are all very good action words, but it doesn't really help me.
like the
Yeah. I don't know how in-depth we need to be with this, like how closely we need to follow it, but
I hope
some of the
it's
others
not
just
super
seemed a little more confusing.
Yeah, so basically, you just need to yeah,
I'll just do whatever.
progressively merge into an overall model. Haha. This sounds like a great thing. Can anybody tell me how to build it?
I know. That sounds good.
Maybe we can ask him specifically, hey, Professor James, you know, if we were to choose this FDD model, which stood for feature-driven development, how would one go about doing this? And see if he can answer our question.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because this comes with milestones. Oh, that's the end of the thing. Wow. It's got a humongous description of activities and sub-activities. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to ask the professor how detailed if he wants us to just be like, okay, so-and-so is going to do this one, and so-and-so is going to do this one this week, and then we're going to do that one this week. And
Yeah. Because it would be great if we could just take the features, create some milestones. You know, we could decide on the overall model or design that we want to come up with, and then we just kind of split that up into different features, and then we just decide, okay, by this week we should have, you know, this completed, and go from there.
Yeah.
But if he wants us to follow it exactly the way it is in Wikipedia, that might be a little more complicated. And maybe that's meant for a bigger team, or a more, you know, an environment where they have more time to work on something like this.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what his document about what's happening this week. I'm hoping maybe he has something in here about exactly what we're supposed to do. Okay, so that's the groups.
You have to do that button.
And then
Do that. And then it will do
see the table of contents for week 2. This is the week you meet your teams. First team meeting, see the syllabus for setup details. Exchange contact information, which we already did. We identified times that you... Okay, so we will identify times that we can meet regularly with our team. One person from the team will set up your team's collaboration tools. GitHub used for the team project. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's not hard to set up. You just set up a GitHub. You have everybody connected to it, meaning you just add them as collaborators, and then everyone downloads that repository to their local, and then they push up to it.
Okay.
We did that last semester. It's not hard. I can set that up if you want.
I'm new to GitHub, so it's going to be a learning curve for me.
Yeah, GitHub was my first time last semester, so you pick it up pretty quick.
Good.
It's not too bad. Okay, so then you create a schedule for teaching for the next 9 weeks, weeks 2 through 10. That means we're supposed to teach this week.
Okay.
Just so you know, surprise, we're probably gonna be teaching on Thursday.
Okay.
Do we have any volunteering as tribute for this week?
What are the choices?
For teaching? Okay, so we have loops, conditional statements, functions, variables, parameters, arrays, associative arrays.
Wait,
I could teach on that one if need be, but
you have to cover all that?
yes, I believe so, because he said there's 13 topics. 1, 2, this goes all the way down to 14, so that means there's 13. But people can teach on it multiple times, because there's only 13 topics, and you're going to be teaching from weeks 2 to 9, which is only 8 weeks? 6 weeks. Goodness. 2, 3. Yeah, 8 weeks. I had that right. My brain today. So that's 8 weeks with 13 topics, which means we're going to have probably 2 or 3 people teaching each week.
Right.
Is what it was mentioned. So the topics, we're going to be going over the topics several times. It's going to seem almost like each one of us is going to pick at least one, we're each going to teach probably all of the topics, maybe except, each of us except like 4 or something. I don't know. That all the topics will get hit, but sometimes, say Mark will teach this first one week 4, but I'm going to be teaching it like week 8, that it'll end up being taught a couple different times, but probably only twice. Hey, what? What? Well, then run and go. Silly goose.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know what DOM means, but
That's the DOM.
I don't know what it does, but I'll give it a try. I'll look it up.
Yeah, so the DOM is basically, it's a tree on HTML. Allows you to, you can use DOM manipulation probably through JavaScript. I think is what it is. So create elements and append childs, inserts. It just allows you to insert things into the DOM, but not necessarily into the HTML. So it's a little bit funky.
But see, what I don't also understand, we're supposed to write some code about that.
Yeah,
Week 2?
I think what you're supposed to do is write a presentation on it, and I think possibly even have an example. Could be wrong. Let me open back up this. So
I guess my
you'll have
question
about,
is, if I have an index.php file and all that's all I have, and so I'm going to teach about DOM. If I only put DOM stuff in there, it probably won't work very well, will it? I mean, I don't know. I'm too new at this to know.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that we'd have to include multiple examples in our assignments, or in our examples, because it just doesn't function on its own. So you could always build something and then improve upon it. So I guess if we were going to build an HTML page and show some CSS, and then we could also, I don't know, for another week incorporate some, I don't know, PHP or something into it as well, and just build on it from there, I guess.
yeah, I don't think we're going to go over any PHP in this class. This is all just
PHP or whatever.
mostly yeah, it's mostly all client side except Ajax. Ajax uses, I think it connects with PHP. That's how I've always used it, but it could connect with something else.
Okay.
But yeah, I see what you're getting, that you would probably build off of it to where, say you've got something that's using loops and conditions and functions and whatever, but then you're also adding an AJAX on top of it to read in a JSON file, and then you're going to manipulate the DOM to append some childs in different places, as well as use some CSS3 transitions and animations, that by the end you're going to have this big, huge, nice web page that does a whole bunch of stuff that impresses your mom.
So we're each writing our own individual web page. We're supposed to come up with something.
So what I
And then-
understood was
And
that
separately a team.
yeah, so what I understood was we're going to have a team project where we're going to be putting a bunch of stuff together after we've learned it. So after week 10, that's when the team project starts. But before that, we're all teaching each other all of the different concepts we need to know so that we all know it in order to create this team project. Okay, so while we're doing this, our websites that we have are just for us for right now and the teacher. So as we go through and we learn the different topics we're supposed to learn for that week, we can put up examples on our site to show that we've learned the topics, and then show the teacher, hey, this is what I did this week. This is what I've learned. Here's my examples of what I put together. And the teacher will go through and say, good, you did this part right, but I don't quite see this part in. Maybe if you put this in or something, then you can get that done and completed as a basic understanding. And then you can add upon it, build upon it to where you have an intermediate base, understanding and an expert understanding. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the anxiety.
Yeah. I just have
I
no
know
idea.
the anxiety.
Yeah.
You have no idea what?
Well, it's what kind of a web page I should come up with.
So if you're, it doesn't have to be a web page like that. Like if you look at the professors, which is just gtjames.github.io, if you go look at his site, basically he has a table that shows all of these topics on it. And then there's another thing, like for notes, that says that I've submitted it or I haven't done it yet or things like that, so that when the teacher goes to it, he can see that you've
What
put
is
some
his?
examples
What
up.
is it again? What is it?
GT James.
DT.
Or I think it might just be no, I think it's GT James. .github.io.
G is in George.
G is in George, yeah. But I think his name is Gary. Yeah, so GT and then his last name James.github.io. So he's got a whole bunch of stuff here for CSS and JSON and AJAX, and you click on the links and it takes you to some of his examples to where you can read in a JSON file, read an HTML file. Not all of this works, he said. It's just to give you an idea of how you'd want to do it. And then for that, it's reviewed, but the score was disagree, and then you're ready for re-review. Then you just build upon what you have here. Oh, okay, I needed to go a little more in depth. Let me fix this up a little bit. So that as you go through, you go, okay, here's all of the different things that I'm doing for it.
So,
here's one of his AJAX lists that things kind of wiggle around and highlight. You can get the person's information here and it highlights it and makes it bold. You can sort and it will move everybody around while you're sorting. So, meaning this is all done with AJAX. He had it underneath the wrong link, but.
So eventually, we're each going to have our own example of each of these subjects, right? I mean, we're each going to. Okay, so even if there's we don't end up teaching one of these, we're still going to have to create something on our own to show the teacher, and so he has.
Right. Even if you're not teaching, you probably, once you've learned it, so once somebody's taught it.
Yeah.
I would therefore, after it's being taught, go research it yourself, go look through it, go create your own example of what it should look like and put that right up, because there's only 8 weeks that we have to do 13 topics.
13 of them. Okay.
And we have to every other week is when we send in a fluency to where we ask the teacher, hey, come check me, come see how fluent I am.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to pass off probably 3 or 4 different topics at a time because it's every other week.
Wow.
So every week
Okay.
you're going to have to be doing at least 1 or 2 different topics, researching by yourself, creating examples for it, and putting it up on your page. So every week you've got to push something up to your page that shows some sort of fluency. Otherwise, by
Right.
week 8, you're going to be doing a whole ton of crap of research, pushing everything up and saying, hey, professor, please don't hate me, but here's everything.
Yeah. Yep.
But don't procrastinate. It will not work.
Okay. Well, should we divvy these out then?
Yeah. So we have 2 minutes till the professor gets here, but let's at least divvy out the topics. I mean, Michael's not here though, so I'm not entirely sure how we want to do that. Maybe first come, first serve. What topics do you guys want to do? Whatever's left, poor Michael, since he didn't make it. Because I'm pretty sure, didn't we like email back and forth and he said something about being able to come, or did he not even email?
I'm pretty sure.
I hope he didn't drop. Goodness.
I'm pretty sure he emailed.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because there's...
No, we had that last semester.
Yeah.
Someone dropped and we thought they were working on their part of the assignment. And didn't work out so well when we found out later he had dropped. So.
Yeah, he said he was usually free in the evenings. And then I think that's all we heard from him. That's it. He just responded once saying, this is who I am. Here's my email. I'm usually free in the evenings. And then we never heard back from him. So, I mean, a day ago. So, unless he decided to drop, like, oh, wow, I got a lousy team.
Yeah.
Goodbye. And dropped. He should have gotten the email or this, because he joined Slack. So, obviously, he's committed.
Okay. Well, I guess. Yeah, we can.
I guess for right now, let's just. I mean, do you want to wait and see if he shows up at the professors' meeting, and we can all meet for very briefly right after the professors' meeting, because we'll need to get the other plan itself. I mean, is this the only thing we're turning in, or is there another plan?
I think he's going to explain it in the next piece.
Yeah, I mean, we might want to wait just a little bit, go see what the professor's got going, ask a couple questions, see what the plan is exactly, and then maybe come back and meet for maybe half hour after the meeting. That way we've got our full hour. Because we met for half an hour now, and then we can meet half an hour after.
Works for
Does
me.
that work for everybody?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll work.
I think so.
Is that a general consensus? Okay.
I think so.
I just heard a lot of mumbling. Okay. I will stop this broadcast. It will probably, I don't know where it'll post, but I'll send you guys a link to the post if you guys need to go back and listen to any explanations or anything. But we can meet up right after and do this all over again. Hopefully Michael will be able to join us.